It's early in the morning and this room is a mess. I can't find no matching socks today. No, it isn't easy getting up and getting dressed. I can't find no matching socks today.
Hi, and welcome to episode 29.5 of Nicole's World Podcast. I am your host, Nicole. Welcome. And if you're wondering why I'm calling it episode 29.5, is because I recorded an episode last night and apparently I had no audio. I was babbling away thinking I had audio and I didn't. So I recorded it now. Today is May the 2nd, 2014. Today is Friday. And first of all, I want to apologize for how I look. I probably look ugh. But that is because I just got done cutting my lawn. And I wanted to get a video out to you guys before the day got away and got too late. And if you're wondering what my shirt says, it says Sun Up Reggae Fest, Kingston Football Field, August 12th, 1972. In case you're wondering what this says, this obviously is not a shirt from the 1970s. I got it a few years ago, and I use it for exercising and yard work. Alright. How is everybody? I hope you're doing great. I hope you had a great weekend, and I want to say welcome to new and returning viewers. If you are new, I hope you come back for another week. And if you're returning, I'm always glad to have you. Alright, let's get on with it. I got a minestrone. As you've seen, in the video, I have a finished object. And also, works in progress. And some podcasts that I love. And new to me podcasts. And if you're wondering what I'm consuming today, it is water with a flavor packet. And my flavor placket. Yeah. Okay, Nicole. Words. The flavor packet I'm using is True Lime Black Cherry Lemonade. 100% natural ingredients. Made from limes. And it's only 10 calories. And I absolutely love this. I love limes. I prefer limes over lemon, and this is fabulous. I could just drink it because it's just really good. Alright. Let's get started. A minestrone. Or as I like to say, it's a minestrone. And forgive me, I don't have my glasses on because I'll get a glare from the light. So if I'm squinting, I'm sorry. Alright, I am aware I am still having trouble with my iTunes feed. Y'all, I don't know what it is. I have contacted my hosting site, which is Podcast Garden. And I have told them that my iTunes feed is not working. The only things I could come up with is it's maybe how I'm uploading it to my hosting site, and then they send it to, excuse me, my cutting the grass and allergies. But anyways, the only thing I can think of is it's the way maybe I'm uploading it, because I use Windows Movie Maker to make my video. Except today, I'm trying something new, but I'm getting ahead of myself. I would go through Windows Movie Maker, click the webcam icon, and record the video that way. And then click save, go back and do my editing. And the way I saved it was it would save it as a published to, it would compress it to or save it as a YouTube video. So I don't know if that has something to do with sending it to, when I would upload it to Podcast Garden, I would use the video that was saved as a YouTube video. I don't know if that has something to do with on my end uploading it to Podcast Garden. So what I'm trying today is I'm using my actual webcam icon that was on my computer. I just clicked that and I'm recording it this way, and then I'm going to upload it to Windows Movie Maker, edit it, and I'll save it as a movie. And then once I save that, I'll go back and resave it as a YouTube video and see if that does the trick. And if that's not it, then I know it's not on my end, it's not user error, then it is on their end or iTunes. But it is driving me mad. Any of y'all out here that are watching it, if you're techie, a lot more techier than I am, and you can help me out, that will be totally awesome. I'd much greatly appreciate it. It is driving me crazy. I don't know if it's also because I'm using Windows Movie Maker. Maybe y'all can suggest video editing software that you use that will be good. And maybe give me a hint as to how maybe you save your videos to upload it to your site. I would preferably like to have one where I can have a 30-day free trial just to see if I like it, because I don't want to spend the money and I'm there and I don't like it, or it's just too like over my head to use. So that is that. As far as y'all in iTunes, you can keep watch it either through the blog, through YouTube, or through the link I provide on the RAV page. So that is that. Next bit of administrati. I will be at Maryland Sheep and Wool tomorrow, y'all. I am super excited. Happy dance. It's my first time ever going to Maryland Sheep and Wool, so I am extremely excited. I don't know what to expect. Prior to Maryland Sheep and Wool, I only went to one other fiber festival. And that was here in Pennsylvania. It was called the Endless Mountain Fiber Festival, and that was August of last year. I am hoping that it is as exciting as everybody is saying. Am I planning on wearing knitwear? I wanted to wear my sweater I have done, but they're calling for it to be like 70 degrees. So even though 70 is still cool to me, the sweater would be too heavy. But I am taking another piece of knitwear. I'm going to take my Mr. Green jean sweater and carry that in case I get cool. But other than that, I'm not planning like what knitwear I have to carry or have to have. I'm wearing comfortable clothes, comfortable shoes. I am taking a backpack along. I normally carry my purse, but when I go on trips, I tend to take my backpack, because if I buy anything, instead of carrying bags upon bags, I can just stick it in my backpack and go. I'm also going to take maybe one or two little of those tote coolers along where I could put some snacks and some drinks in it and do it that way. And yes, I will also be taking my glucometer along to check my sugar, because I know I'm going to be there and I'm probably going to be a bad girl. My hot little hands are probably going to get on something I shouldn't be eating. So I am going to take my glucometer along. My sugar is doing good. It's on the high side. Today it's 173. But my sugars run anywhere from like 120 to 173 lately. I can't complain. Sometimes they run higher than that. So I'll take 173 for today, and that's 2 hours after I ate. So I can't complain. Alright. Let's go into some finished objects, shall we? Yay! I know I showed it on the video, but I'm sorry, I got all my stuff over here on a chair. If you're new to the podcast, And I'm sure those of you who are regulars are like repeating it right now, but I made the Hawaiian friendship sweater. I believe it's pronounced Ho Aloha. If I butchered that, I'm sorry. I'm sure somebody's screaming at me. That's not how you say it. You say it this way. So if I said it wrong, I'm sorry. You can gladly correct me. But this was a pattern by Emski Knits, or Mel from the Single Handed Knits podcast. This is a paid for pattern on Rav. Here's what it looks like. I absolutely love it. It was a fun knit. And easy. I mean, I will say there are some firsts for me in this pattern, but I'll get into it after I show you guys my sweater. Alright. Here. Alright, you can see this is the front. Yay. And the sleeves. Here's what the sleeve looks like. And here's the back. Alright, now I will show you, I made a boo-boo, and it is knit error. When I bought the buttons, or as Diane from Podcast Garden says, buttons, I love the way she says it, but here's the buttons I bought. As you can see, they're kind of small. My buttonholes are bigger, and they don't want to stay buttoned, as you can see. So what I'm going to have to do is a little sweater surgery. I'm probably going to have to go and probably do like a little mattress stitch and take the buttonhole down. And you guys, I cannot get over, oh, this is showing up really good. And you notice I got like some, oh, ha, it's my buttonhole, ha. I was like, I got a hole? Yeah, I do have a hole, Nicole. You got 4 of them on here, duh. Anyways, I'm sorry, my nose is itchy. I'm allergic to grass, and I was out cutting the grass today for my Nana, so I got an itchy nose, so I'm sorry. But anyways, I'll show you. Here's the up close of my sleeve. It's the same pattern as my front. Some new to me things was this was the first knitted garment item that I ever did bust shaping, because the only other ones were 2 cardigans. And they really didn't have bust shaping. This was the first actual wear sweater where I had bust shaping, and I was nervous. I read it, and then I reread it, and I just followed what Mel said, and I was like, this is easy. There's nothing to this. I'm like, wow. Now, only if I could figure out the bust shaping on my crocheted item. But I am pleased with how this came out. And as you guys seen on the video, on the picture that I posted on here, that the arms are big. Y'all, I don't know how fat I thought my arms were. I must have thought my arms were gigantic or something. I have not realized how much weight the past couple years I've lost, because my arms were bigger. And am I going to make this again? Yes, I'm definitely going to make it again, but when I do it, I'm going to switch to a smaller needle for my arms, go down a size, and I think maybe for the bust, I'll go down a size in the needle when I make this. Overall, I'll go down a needle size, because it is big on me. I made it for my bust shape, because it lists it like the bust sizings, and I'm not a small girl. I'm a big girl, and I was like, okay, I went by the bust shape I am. I'm like, okay, I don't want to say necessarily maybe I have shoulders or something, but it is kind of big. I'm not complaining, because when the weather's colder, and even when it's not, I like to wear a tank top underneath my shirts, because I'm fussy. I don't like my bra showing, or sometimes the outline of it. So I tend to wear tank tops under certain tops, because I I don't know, look nice. I don't know. I'm fussy sometimes, but so I wear a tank top with this. You know, I don't have to worry. I love the boat neck style. It is fabulous. So me and my gram can share this because she loves it, and I will make her one too. I'm also toying with the idea of buying a lighter fabric and making this in a short sleeve so I can wear one during the summer. And the next one I make, I don't think I'm going to put buttons on it. I think I'm just going to do it plain without it. Now, as far as yarn goes, I use one whole 1 pound ball of Caron in the light blue colorway and part of the second. This is how much I have left of the second ball. It's a 1 pounder. It's the, I call it sky blue, but it's actually, you guys can see it, color's showing up great on here. It's a light blue. It's a light blue. I don't have enough to get another garment out of it, but I'm thinking I have enough maybe to get a hat, couple hats. Which brings me to the next thing. Ken, I did not forget to send you hats for your charity. I actually sent some of the hats over to my friend in Italy. She has a friend who has breast cancer and was going through chemo, so I sent her some of the hats that I had. I have 2 in my stash yet and a pair of mittens. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a box full still for you, Ken. I'm going to make a box full and I'm going to send them to you. So I think this is definitely going to be some hat yarn. Give a little something back to people because it is such a nice yarn. So it's going to go back. It's going out of this bag then and back into my stash. That's all the finished objects that I have. I'm sorry, I'm thirsty. Works in progress. I am working on my, is it vanilla latte or caffeinated latte socks? I think it's vanilla latte. Why don't Nicole check Rav? Check your project page, girlfriend, and you can give the right information. They are the vanilla latte socks, and they are by Virginia Rose Janes. And they are a free Rav pattern. I worked on them last night when the original video was uploading. And this morning when I was waiting for my Nana to come out of the bank. So I got quite a bit done. I did in case you knew, I did Fish Lips Kiss heel. They called for a different heel to make it, but I wanted to do Fish Lips Kiss. Because I'm not a big heel flaps gusset kind of gal. No. I am actually at the halfway point on my heel. Right here, as you guys can see, here's my heel. I am at the halfway point, more or less. Yeah, basically more or less, I'm at the halfway point. And then around in here somewhere is where I'll do the toe decrease, starting toe, like a little bit before maybe the dotted line, I'll start doing toe decreases. I like the pattern. I'm not so much a pattern girl when it comes to socks. I'm more of a vanilla sock type of gal. Just knit them on up and that's it, because to me they're socks. Who really sees your socks? They're covered up, which is a shame. I love this color. The back has the pattern. The foot is just knit, as you can see. Another new to me thing is I normally wear ankle socks. I'm an ankle sock kind of gal, and these are longer, but that's okay because these will come in great when fall and winter come, and especially when fall and winter come and I bust out my other longer socks. to wear with my boots. So they'll come in handy. Yarn. Let's see if the tag is still in here, guys. And I can tell you what it is. Yes, it is. Haha. Oh, no. That's not it. That's not the right tag. I'd be telling you the wrong information. Here we go. They are SRK. Sorry, SRK. On Your Toes 4-ply yarn with aloe vera. It is 100 grams, 3.5 ounces, 390 yards, or 360 meters. 75% superwash wool, 25% nylon. It says I can wash, machine washable, low heat, or tremble dry. The colorway is sunset print. Here is, this is the ball band. Here is the website and the company that makes the socks. And here is the colorway. I like this. I actually picked this ball of sock yarn up at Tuesday mornings. And if you're unfamiliar with Tuesday mornings is, it's kind of like a discount or closeout or something like that. One of those stores where it's either discontinued items or a store had too much stock and they send it to a place like that to sell it. I actually like it. You can get some pretty interesting things there. I'm also a fan of Big Lots and Ollie's. I'm a fan of those as well. And also Christmas tree shops. The Christmas tree shops, I'm a huge fan of. I love that store. You can get some great stuff. So that is that. I'll show you my other work in progress. It didn't get no love at all, but I will show you. It's being kept in my I Love Cupcake bag. I absolutely love this bag. And it's my dog's favorite. Hi, and thanks to the magic of editing, I am back. You never know, I was gone for a little bit. But anyways, the next work in progress I have is my Father Time neck warmer. Well, cowl. I hate that word, y'all. Cowl. Sounds like I'm asking for cow. But anyways, I just don't like that word. I call it neck warmer. But anyways, this is a free pattern on Rav. It is by Steve from Dramatic Knits. And it's a free pattern. This is what it looks like. That is Steve modeling it. I think it is absolutely gorgeous. Here is what it looks like up close. I think it is a gorgeous pattern. As I said, it got no love on it for the past couple weeks because I have been trying to get my friendship sweater done and off the needles. Because I wanted it done. I was so close to getting it done. And I'm like, monogamy, girlfriend. Monogamy. But this is what it looks like so far. As I said, it got no love. And I just love this color. It is gorgeous. I hope I have enough to finish it. This is yarn that came from AC Moore. I think it's called Yarn 2 or Yarn 2 Basic or something. I don't know. It was only $1 there, and I picked 2 skeins up of it. I would have loved to pick more of it up, but they didn't have it. It looks like yarn barf because I used my old yarn winder a long time ago to wind it, and I just never undid it and reskeined it. But it's a gorgeous gray and pink. This is how much of the second ball I have. And this is how much of the first ball I have. As I said, it's a fun pattern. It's working up good. I should have enough to make a big, long neck warmer, a scarf like he has. So we will see. If not, I have other dollar yarns like that in completely different colors that maybe I'll just mix with it and make a funky little thing. Or maybe wait and see when I go to AC Moore if I find some. But anyways, we'll see. Being kept in my cupcake bag. And my last work in progress, and it's actually part of an autism cow I'm in with Pen Hook and Needles. I know normally this is the time that I go into information about the autism spectrum and what it entails, but I didn't do my research today because, as I said, this is a video. I redid it and I just came in from outside and figured I'd record. So shame on me, but I will next week give some information about it. This pattern I am using, it is the Monster Cowl by Julia Allen. And it's a paid-for pattern on Rav, but this is what it looks like. I don't want to give too much away. The yarn I am using is Red Heart Boutique Unforgettable in the Parrot colorway. I worked on this the other night. Now, I already moved the jigger up because I showed it on the first video. But I got about maybe that much done since you all seen it last. But this is what it looks like. This is how long it is so far. And I know it's like folding in on itself. I don't know why. Probably because maybe it needs to be blocked. I don't know. It uses a provisional cast on, which is a new to me cast on. I'm using size 5 needles. These are the boy needles. And yeah, I will go on. I just love the color, and my webcam, since I adjusted the settings on it, is picking up stuff beautifully. Here's what it looks like up close. It is a bright, if you're wondering, if you're thinking that it looks bright, it is very bright, as you can see. And it's perfect for their autism cow. So now, those are all my works in progress. I'm pulling the stitch because I put it on a stitch like a goofy person. Maybe I shouldn't have put it on the stitch I'm knitting. Sounds like a good idea, Nicole. Do one above. There we go. And if you're wondering what stitch marker I'm using, it's one that I made with a little elephant and jade looking things. Alright. I need to go off on a tangent a little bit about my needles and the yarn. You all know I don't complain. I'm not a yarn snob. And I always try to find good in everything I do because there is always good in everything. You just have to look. Sometimes harder than others, but you have to look. This yarn. Yes. Red Heart, what were you thinking? I said it in my last video and I'm going to say it again. I don't know what Red Heart was thinking with this. Marlisha, you know exactly what I'm about to talk about, and anybody that's maybe ever knit with it or crocheted, you know what I'm about to say. I love the softness of this yarn. It is soft. It is so nice to feel, and the colors are beautiful. I don't know if you want to call it like a self-striping yarn, perhaps. I know it's not really variegated or painted, like, I don't know if you want to call it painted or a self-striping type of yarn. I love that. I love the color effect on it. However, for it being, it should say on here, 100% acrylic, they need to rethink it. I've never had acrylic knitting or crocheting with it where it felt like it was felting as I'm working with it. I've never had acrylic felt on me ever. Ever have I ever had acrylic felt. This stuff, as I'm working with it, it feels like it's felting at times. And let me just tell you, if you have to go back and you have to undo a row that you did, you best be careful, because it will snap at times. It'll just go bink, and you're like, what's up? I wasn't rough, I hardly pulled, and you want to snap? So then I have to go through and do the square knot, or the fisherman's knot, and put it back together. You all know I love hand spun yarn. I love how it's creative and how it's gorgeous. And you know, sometimes those of you that spin, like if you're new or even if you're not new, maybe sometimes you get like little pieces where maybe it didn't spin for some reason. Like it didn't want to take to the spinning and it didn't spin, or you just somehow missed it. Well, there's pieces like that in here. And being like this is like a soft, fuzzy type yarn, let's say it makes it harder. I mean, there's parts where it's not spun at all. And, oh, I can't. Well, here it is, but I mean, there's parts where it's like, it's not spun, like, it didn't catch on the machine when the machine was spinning it. And there's times it's like belting when I'm working with it. Or there's times like the yarn splits as I'm knitting. I'm like, what the heck? I stuck it in the hole and you want to split it. Sometimes it don't want to knit right. It gets very nasty to knit with at times, to see the next stitch at times. I'm disappointed by it. I don't want to see Red Heart take this off their product line. However, I think Red Heart needs to rethink the way they make this yarn. I mean, don't change the color schemes because they're gorgeous. But maybe change how it's made a little bit. Keep the softness. But maybe change how it's made, because this yarn isn't nice all the time. Like, it looks like in here like I dropped stitches where there's holes, and I didn't. Back here, it looks like I dropped stitches in the back, and I didn't. It's just the way the yarn lays, like right back here. I'm not trying to give anybody my naughty finger, but I'm just trying to show you, like right here, it's like, looks like I dropped a stitch, and I didn't. It's the way it went. And I'm like, what's up? I was using my 5mm Caspian knit needles. I had to take them off the Caspians, which are great. By the way, you guys, I figured out what the problem was, why they didn't want to stay locked. It was the weight of the sweater, and I had to give them just a little bit extra of a tightening. But once I figured that out, I love them. They're great needles, great interchangeable needles. I love them. But they were horrible when it came to slide on the needles. I've never had that with my interchangeables. And they were just hard. Not nice. This yarn wasn't nice to work with on my Caspians. So I had to switch them to my boy metal needles. Which kind of brings me on another tangent of mine. I know I'm on a tangent today. I bought these at Walmart. And it don't particularly bother me that much. But it kind of has me disappointed, because if you watch the Brochet podcast, Lucas was talking about it. The paint, you can't really see it too much on mine. But the paint is coming off. What the heck? I just bought these needles a month, 2 months ago, and the paint's coming off of them. Yeah, y'all can kind of see it. Like, what's up with that? I could understand if I've had these needles for a few years and the coating is wearing off. Okay, fine. Hey, that's great. You know, that shows I used them. But maybe have them a month or two and the coating's wearing off. They're cheaply made. I'm disappointed by that. So if you get boy needles, depending on when you got them, don't be surprised if the coating wears off of them. Or if you're wondering why you got little flecks of different color in your yarn as you're knitting, it's because it's wearing off from here. So that's that. That's my tangent on that. Disappointed. Go back, redo it. Maybe just have a silver plated one instead of paint. But, yeah. Love the color. Red Heart just needs to rethink the yarn a little bit. I mean, they're sliding a lot better on here. I don't know why. Like I said, never had any trouble with my Caspians. Or my Harmony ones, but yeah. So that is that. That's all my works in progress this week. I am going to try not to put anything else on my needles or my hooks till I get projects done. The only other project I have that I'm not showing you guys is called my Swing Away tank, designed by Marley Bird. It is in the April-May issue of Crochet Today. It's kind of in hibernation because I'm having a problem. If any of you all have the current issue of Crochet Today, if you could help me, I am on the bust shaping of the tank top and it is confusing the widths out of me. Or maybe if you know a good bust shaping idea for it that you could help me, let me know. Maybe we can do a little Skype chat or Google Hangout chat that you can help me, because it is quite confusing. And if you could help me, I would greatly appreciate that. Alright, some new to me podcast is Manly Yarns with your host Kevin. He did have a podcast before and he's back. And Kevin, I am glad you are back because I loved your podcast before and I love it now. I love the yarn that you talk about, the gray heather. I've seen it in person. It is gorgeous. I want to get me a few skeins. It would make a gorgeous blanket, a gorgeous sweater, gorgeous anything. Another new to me yarn. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. Another new to me yarn is called Smells Like Yarn with your host Russ. Him and Kevin, their videos are found on YouTube. But Russ has a Rav group called Smells Like Yarn. He is great. He's a Scentsy consultant and he's always, in the beginning of the podcast, he tells you what he's burning and I wish I had smell-o-vision because I bet it smells so good. But that's another good one. And some podcasts that I can recommend is Stitch by Stitch with your host Kim. She's out in California. She's a sweetheart. She's a little cutie. I think she's adorable. I love her podcast. I love her, I believe they're schnauzers? I don't think they're miniature, but I know they're schnauzers. Oh, they're so cute. I want to hug them. And she does spinning, and I love the colors that you do to spin, Kim. Oh, gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. I just want to come to your house, fly out to your house, and hug your stash. Because I love the colorways that you use. And she does do some helpful tutorials for spinning. And another podcast I love is called Craft Stash. And that is hosted by a Kim, which I love her to pieces too. She's great. She talks about what she's up to, what she's crafting, what she's stashing. She just did a video about her spindles. Oh, I'm sorry, you guys. I don't know where that's coming from all of a sudden. But she does, as I said, videos of her. She just did a video of her spindles. I will say, Kim, thumbs up. I love the new camera. It's great. It looked great. You'll figure out all the little twerks and adjustments on it in no time. And she does spinning. She does crafting. All kinds of crafting, stashing. And check her out. She has a Rav group called Craft Stash. And Stitch by Stitch has a Rav group too called Stitch by Stitch. They're both great podcasts. Stitch by Stitch can also be found on YouTube, but Craft Stash I think is just on. I'm sorry, Stitch by Stitch can be found on iTunes. Oh my goodness, iTunes Craft Stitch by Stitch. Craft Stash I think is only on YouTube right now and on her blog. Alright, that is that. I am going to go on to life. So if you're going to leave me now, I'll see you next week. And if you're leaving me and you're going to Maryland Sheep and Wool, come say hi. Alright, life. The week that was last week. Nothing too exciting happened. Nothing. Nope. This week, I finished a Craftsy class I took. It was a free mini class. It was a photography class hosted by Kurt Tucker. It was amazing. I learned so much in that class. I kind of like the Craftsy free mini classes at times because if it's something that I never did, it lets me try it and see if I like it, and then if I do, I can buy more classes in that genre. But I love the photography class. It was called Family Portraits. However, what I learned, you can apply it to just more than family portraits. I used it so far to take pictures of my yard. I took pictures out back of my yard, which you'll see which you've seen some in the beginning of this podcast and some at the end. I learned how to do that and get really great shots with that. I took a really okay picture of my Nana. I want to take another portrait of her. And as you saw the picture in the beginning of my podcast with me, I did that. I learned how to do some editing, basically just to clean it up. Maybe clean up the background and the hueing and the lighting. Obviously, I don't have the equipment that Kurt has to do things like make lighting and different camera lenses, because what I'm using, hang on, out of frame, what I've been using to take pictures obviously is number one, my iPhone, which takes really great pictures, my iPhone 5, and next is my Sony CyberShot. You're probably like, that ain't no Sony CyberShot. I ain't never seen one that looked like that. Well, it is, excuse me. To my knowledge, this is the first generation of the CyberShots. I've had this since it first came out on the market. It's a 5.0 megapixel, 3x optical zoom. I've had this camera for, I'd say, since before 2007. I've had it since like 2005, maybe 2004, whenever it first came out in the market. As I said, to my knowledge, this is the first gen CyberShot. I have learned so much about taking pictures with this camera than I have since I've had this camera. Kurt has shown me so much. I am amazed. As I said, I've learned to use more of the features on my camera than I've had since I owned it, which is great. I love it. The only thing is, I realized I'm going to have to eventually upgrade my camera. And it's not just because, I took the class and I want to take more pictures. It's because it is an older camera. It don't hold as much pictures because it uses a memory stick. And it's actually hard today to find memory sticks. You actually, it's hard because I've looked, they don't sell them. And the battery, I can't even buy the battery anymore for it. This is the battery that you use for it. I can't even find it on the market to buy. I looked on the internet to buy one just so that I had an extra battery. Even eBay. This camera is being marketed on eBay as just for parts. So I'm quite saddened by that because it is a great little camera. It suits my needs perfectly. I mean, so I am going to have to look at eventually upgrading. Obviously not right now. I'm quite content with it. But it's suiting my needs. I learned a lot from the Craftsy class to use this, and to clean up my pictures better. So that is that. I'm going to let you guys go. If you're going to Sheepenville this weekend, I hope to see you there. Message me and let me know if you're going, because I'd love to meet up with you in real life and chat with you guys. Until then, I will see you again. Be safe. Be good. Treat everybody the way you would want to be treated. And I will talk to you next week. Bye.